The days passed quickly in the kingdom of Velora. Princess Mira and Leo grew closer with each moment they spent together. The palace was busy with preparations, guards trained, messengers traveled, and leaders met to discuss how to protect their home. Leo found himself learning more than just fighting. He wanted to understand the people he was protecting and the world they lived in. Mira invited him to many places in the city. They walked through markets filled with bright colors and smells, and they visited the great library where old stories were kept. One afternoon, Mira took Leo to a quiet place outside the city walls. It was a green field with soft grass and tall trees that swayed gently in the wind. The sun was warm, and birds sang in the distance. Mira looked at Leo with a calm smile. "I want to tell you why I chose you," she said. "It is not just because Earth sent you here. I saw something in your spirit." Leo looked surprised. "What do you mean, princess?" Mira's eyes shone softly. "When I was a child, I had dreams about a brave protector, someone different from us, who would come when we needed help most. I did not know who this person was, but when your ship arrived, I felt it was you." Leo felt a strange feeling inside, a mix of pride and responsibility. "I don't know if I am as brave as you think," he said honestly, "but I will try my best." Mira nodded. "That is enough. Bravery is not about being perfect. It is about standing up when others fall. I believe you have that." They sat together in silence for a while. Then Leo spoke. "Princess, on Earth, people sometimes doubt each other because we look different or come from different places. But when we work together, we can do great things." Mira smiled. "That is what I see with you. We are different, but our hearts are the same." Days turned into weeks. Leo and Mira continued to learn from each other. Mira taught Leo about Velora's customs and traditions. She showed him the ways of the Veloran people, their respect for nature, their love for peace, and their hope for the future. Leo shared stories about Earth too. He told Mira about the mountains, the oceans, and the cities filled with people from many cultures. He spoke of the challenges humans faced, but also their ability to overcome problems through unity. Their friendship grew stronger, and with it, the hope of the kingdom. The Veloran guards began to see Leo not as an outsider, but as one of their own. They listened when he spoke, and they followed his lead during training. One day, during practice, Leo demonstrated a new fighting technique from Earth, the Veloran. Guards watched closely, impressed by his skill and speed. Afterward, Captain Darrow, the head of the Veloran guards, came to Leo. "You have great strength and wisdom," Darrow said. "Your presence gives us courage." Leo nodded respectfully. "I learn from all of you as well. Together, we will be stronger." Meanwhile, Mira faced pressure from the kingdom's leaders. Some believed the alliance with Earth was risky. They doubted that humans could understand Veloran ways or fight their battles. Mira stood firm. "We must trust each other," she told them. "The world is changing. Old enemies grow stronger. If we do not unite, we will fall." Mira's words gave strength to many, but she also knew the path ahead would be hard. The enemy was not far, and time was short. One evening, Mira invited Leo to her private chambers. She showed him an ancient map of the star system. The map glowed softly, revealing secret paths and hidden places. "This map shows where our enemies might come from," Mira explained. "It also holds secrets of our past powers that can protect us." Leo studied the map carefully. "How do we find these powers?" Mira's eyes looked far away. "I believe the answer lies within my family's history, but unlocking it will take great courage and trust." Leo placed his hand gently on the map. "Whatever you need, I will stand with you." Mira smiled gratefully. "Thank you, Leo. Together, we will face the darkness." The night passed quietly. Outside, the stars shone bright. Inside, a new bond had formed, a bond of trust, friendship, and hope. As the enemy drew closer, the people of Velora began to believe that help had truly arrived, not just in the form of a human guard, but in the promise of a future where different worlds stood side by side. The calm days in Velora were coming to an end. News spread quickly through the city that the enemy fleet was approaching. The Dralax, a fierce and powerful group. We're coming to take the kingdom by force. Fear grew among the people, but Princess Mira stood tall and steady in the palace war room. Mira and her advisors gathered. They studied maps and star charts, trying to find the best way to defend their home. The Valoran technology was advanced, but the Dralax fleet was larger and better. Equipped, Leo stood quietly beside Mira. He watched the leaders speak, knowing he had to do more than just watch. His mind raced with ideas from Earth's battles and strategies. He remembered the training he had, the plans he had learned to make. After the meeting, Leo asked Mira if he could help. Princess, I have ideas that might help us. On Earth, we use many tactics that might surprise our enemy. Mira looked at him with hope in her eyes. Tell me your plans, Leo. I trust you. Leo gathered a small team of Valoran guards who were willing to listen. Together, they worked day and night to prepare. Leo taught the guards new fighting techniques and ways to use their weapons differently. He also shared Earth ideas about teamwork and quick thinking. Slowly, the guards began to change. They were faster, smarter, and more confident. Leo worked hard, not just as a teacher, but as a leader who cared deeply for the people he was protecting. One morning, Mira walked into the training grounds. She watched Leo and the guards practice. The energy was different. There was a spark of hope in their eyes. You have done well, Leo, Mira said quietly. You have given my people courage. Leo smiled, feeling proud. I only want to protect Valora and you, Princess. But the threat was real and close. The Dralax fleet was only days away. Mira knew they had to act fast. She called a meeting with Leo and the leaders. We need to use all our strength, she said, and all our knowledge. Leo stepped forward. There's a way to weaken the enemy before they reach us. We can send a small group to sabotage their supply ships. Without food and fuel, their fleet will be slower and less powerful. The leaders looked unsure. The mission would be dangerous. But Mira nodded firmly. We must try. Leo's heart beat fast. He volunteered to lead the mission. I will go. I will bring my team and stop the enemy before they reach Valora. Mira placed her hand on his shoulder. Be careful, Leo. We all believe in you. Leo and his team prepared quickly. They boarded a small, fast ship designed for stealth. The night was dark and quiet as they flew toward the enemy fleet. The stars shone above like tiny eyes watching them. Leo's mind was sharp and focused. He remembered Mira's words and the trust she had placed in him. When they reached the enemy supply ships, they moved quietly, using their skills and new tactics. They found ways to disable the ships without being seen. The mission was dangerous, but the team worked together like a well-oiled machine. Suddenly, alarms blared from the enemy ships. The Dralax had noticed something was wrong. Leo and his team rushed to finish their work and escape. The chase was fast and tense. The enemy ships fired their weapons, trying to catch them. But Leo's ship was quick, and his team was brave. After a tense escape, they returned to Valora. The kingdom's people waited anxiously for their return. When Leo's team landed, they were greeted with cheers. The mission was a success. The enemy supply ships were destroyed, and the Dralax fleet would arrive weaker than before. Princess Mira hugged Leo tightly. You have done more than I hoped. You have saved us. Leo smiled, but felt tired. We all did this together. The victory gave new hope to Valora. The people began to believe that with unity, courage, and trust, even the darkest times could be overcome. Mira and Leo stood on the palace balcony, looking at the stars. The war was not over, but now they were ready. Together, they would face the coming storm. The day after the successful mission, the kingdom of Valora was alive with hope and energy. The people spoke quietly about Leo and his brave team. But Princess Mira knew the real challenge was still ahead. She called Leo to the palace courtyard. Early in the morning, the sun was warm, and the air smelled fresh from the recent rain. Mira looked at Leo with calm eyes and said, The Dralax will come soon. We must test your strength and your team's skill. Only then will we know if we can protect Valora. Leo nodded. He was ready for anything. Tell me what I must do. Mira smiled softly. There's a group of Dralax scouts near the forest. If they are not stopped, they will return and bring a larger force. I want you to lead a small team to stop them. Leo thought about the mission. It was dangerous. The scouts were fierce and fast, but he knew it was important. I accept. He gathered his team, some of the best Valoran guards trained in the last weeks with him. They prepared their weapons and made a plan. Leo used what he had learned from Earth battles. Mixing it with Valoran skills. At dusk, they left quietly. The forest was dark and full of shadows. Leo moved carefully, leading his team with focus. The sound of leaves and distant animals filled the air. After hours of searching, they found the Dralax scouts. The enemy was setting traps and gathering information about Valora's defenses. Leo signaled to his team to prepare. The battle began. Suddenly, the scouts were strong and clever. They fought with sharp weapons and quick moves. But Leo and his team were ready. Leo used a new tactic. Instead of fighting directly, they used the trees and shadows to surprise the enemy. They moved fast and silent, attacking from unexpected places. The fight was long and hard. Some of Leo's team were injured, but no one gave up. With careful planning and courage, they slowly pushed the scouts back. At one moment, Leo found himself face to face with the scout leader. The two warriors stared at each other, both knowing this battle could decide the outcome for their people. Leo took a deep breath and acted quickly. He used a move he had practiced many times, a swift strike. That caught the scout off guard. The scout fell, and the others fled into the forest. Leo's team cheered quietly. The mission was a success. When they returned to Valora, Mira was waiting. She looked at Leo with pride. You passed the test. Leo smiled, feeling the weight of the victory. It was not just me. My team was brave. Mira nodded. You have brought hope to this kingdom. The people believe in you. But Mira also knew this was only the beginning. The Dralax fleet was still coming, and the battles ahead would be harder. That night, Mira and Leo sat together in the palace garden. The stars above seemed to shine brighter, as if celebrating their victory. Mira spoke softly. Leo, I want you to know something important. You are not just a guard. You are part of Valora's future. Leo looked at her with surprise. What do you mean? Mira reached into a small box and took out an old, glowing stone. This is a family treasure. It holds a power that has protected Valora for centuries, but it can only be used with great trust and strength. She placed the stone in Leo's hand. It felt warm and alive. I want you to help me unlock this power. Leo felt a strange energy flow through him. I will do my best, Princess. Mira smiled. Together, we can save this kingdom. The next days were full of training and preparation. Leo learned about the stone's history and the power it held. Mira shared stories of her ancestors who had used it to protect Valora. In times of danger, Leo studied hard. He practiced controlling the energy and understanding its secrets. Mira was always by his side, guiding him. Their bond grew stronger with every moment. They trusted each other completely. The kingdom watched as the human and alien worked together. United in purpose, the people's hope grew stronger, and the fear of the coming war began to fade. But the enemy was not far. The Dralax fleet moved closer each day, ready to strike. Mira stood on the palace balcony one evening, looking at the horizon. She thought of Leo and the power they had begun to unlock. She whispered to the stars, "We will not fall. We will fight together." Leo joined her, ready for the battle to come. The true test of their courage and unity was near. The days grew shorter, and the tension in Valora grew heavier. The people moved with nervous energy, preparing for the great battle they knew was coming. Princess Mira and Leo worked together every moment, learning more about the ancient power that Mira had entrusted to Leo. One morning, Mira took Leo to a hidden chamber deep inside the palace. The walls were covered with glowing symbols and old paintings. The air was cool and still. "This room holds the secrets of my family," Mira said softly. "Here, our history is kept safe. And here, you will learn what we must do next." Leo looked around with wonder. He felt the weight of the past in the room. What is the secret? Princess Mira pointed to a large mural on the wall. It showed a glowing tree with roots that spread across the stars. This tree is called the Heart of Velora. It holds a special energy that can protect our kingdom. But the power is strong and must be used with care. Leo stepped closer, touching the mural gently. How do we unlock it? Mira smiled sadly. Only someone with a true heart and courage can unlock this power. Someone who will use it to protect, not to harm. Leo looked into Mira's eyes. I want to help you. I will be that person. Mira nodded. I believe you are. For many days after, Mira and Leo worked together to learn more about the Heart of Velora. Mira showed Leo how to connect his energy with the tree's power. They practiced focusing their minds and opening their hearts. The process was not easy. Sometimes Leo felt weak or unsure. But Mira was patient and kind. She encouraged him to keep trying. One evening, as the stars began to shine, Leo felt a strange warmth inside him. The glowing stone Mira had given him began to pulse with light. He looked at Mira with surprise. The power is awakening, Mira said softly. You are ready for the next step. Suddenly, the ground shook gently beneath them. A soft voice echoed in their minds. Protect the kingdom. Protect the future. Leo and Mira looked at each other, understanding the message was from the Heart of Velora itself. But with this new power came great responsibility. Mira warned Leo. The enemy will try to take this power from us. We must be strong. Leo nodded. I will protect it with my life. Days passed, and the enemy grew closer. Scouts reported that the Dralax fleet was only hours away. The city prepared for battle. People gathered to pray for peace and safety. Leo and Mira stood before the kingdom's people. Mira spoke with calm strength. We face danger, but we also have hope. Together, we will protect Velora. Leo felt the eyes of the crowd on him. He raised the glowing stone high. We are stronger together. We will not fall. The people cheered, their fear turning into courage. That night, Mira and Leo walked through the palace gardens. The stars were bright above, but their thoughts were heavy. We must be ready for anything, Mira said quietly. Leo took her hand gently. We face this battle as one. Suddenly, a messenger arrived with urgent news. Princess Mira. Leo, the Dralax fleet has been spotted. They will arrive by dawn. The time had come. Mira looked at Leo, her eyes full of trust. Together, we will face the storm. Leo nodded, feeling the power of the Heart of Velora flowing through him. The fight for their home was about to begin. The first light of dawn painted the sky with soft colors. The people of Velora stood ready, watching the horizon. The enemy fleet of the Dralax was coming fast, their ship's dark shapes against the morning sky. Princess Mira and Leo stood together on the palace balcony, looking out over their city. The air was filled with quiet determination. The long wait was over. Now, it was time to fight. Leo held the glowing stone in his hand. It pulsed gently, as if alive. Mira reached out and placed her hand on his. Remember, Leo, the power is strongest when we stand together. Leo nodded. I will protect you and our home. The Veloran guards lined the streets, ready with their weapons. Leo's team moved with calm focus, their training clear in every step. The people watched, with hope, believing in the courage of their leaders. Suddenly, the enemy fleet moved closer. The Dralax ships fired powerful energy beams, lighting the sky. The battle had begun. Leo and Mira moved quickly. Leo led a group of guards to defend the main gate. He used the tactics he had taught them, directing them to use the city's narrow streets and tall buildings as cover. The Dralax were strong, but Velora's defenders were stronger. They fought with courage and teamwork. Leo moved with skill and bravery, protecting his team and striking at the enemy. Meanwhile, Mira stayed in the palace, using her knowledge and the power of her family to help the city's defense. She focused on the glowing stone, calling on its energy to strengthen the walls and shield the people. The stone shone brighter, sending waves of light across the city. The enemy's attacks slowed and weakened. The Dralax were surprised by the power of Velora's defense. Leo and his team pushed forward, taking back ground lost in the first moments of the battle. The people cheered as the guards moved with speed and strength. But the enemy was not done. The Dralax brought out a giant ship, larger and more powerful than the others. It hovered above the city, firing beams of energy that shook the ground and broke walls. Mira looked worried. We must stop that ship or Valora will fall. Leo's eyes burned with determination. I will lead the attack. He gathered his best warriors and moved toward the giant ship. The journey was dangerous. Enemy fighters attacked from all sides, but Leo and his team fought bravely, pushing through the enemy lines. When they reached the ship, Leo climbed its side, using his strength and skill. Inside, the battle was fierce. The enemy guards were strong, but Leo fought with the power of the glowing stone and his own courage. Suddenly, Mira appeared beside him. She had followed with a group of guards. Together, they used the stone's energy to weaken the ship's core. The ship began to shake. Leo and Mira worked quickly, using their combined strength to destroy the enemy's power source. With a final burst of light, the ship exploded into pieces, falling from the sky. The Dralax fleet began to retreat. The city erupted in cheers. The people ran to Leo and Mira, lifting them up in celebration. Mira smiled, tired but proud. We have won this battle. Leo looked around at the happy faces. This is just the beginning. We will protect Valora and build a future together. As the sun rose higher, the kingdom of Valora stood strong. The bond between humans and aliens had grown unbreakable, and the promise of peace shone bright in their hearts. The battle was over. The sky above Valora was clear, and the stars shone brightly once again. The city was alive with joy and relief. People sang songs of victory, and children played in the streets. Without fear, Princess Mira stood on the palace balcony, looking out over her kingdom. The war had tested them all, but Valora had survived. Beside her stood Leo, her human guard and trusted friend. The bond between them had grown stronger than anyone could have imagined. Mira smiled and said, Leo, when you first came, some did not believe in you. But now, you have shown what courage and loyalty truly mean. Leo looked at her, his eyes full of respect. I came to Valora to protect you, princess. But I have found more than a mission. I have found a home. The people gathered below cheered for their leaders. They saw a future where humans and Valorans stood together, united by trust and hope. In the days after the battle, Mira and Leo worked to rebuild what had been damaged. Together, they met with the kingdom's leaders and Earth's ambassadors. They spoke of peace and friendship, of new alliances and shared dreams. Mira held a special ceremony in the great hall of the palace. She officially named Leo her personal guard and gave him the title of Protector of Valora. The crowd applauded, welcoming the human as one of their own. Leo felt proud but also humble. I will serve Valora with all my heart, he promised. But their journey was not finished. Mira and Leo knew that peace must be protected. They planned new missions to explore nearby star systems, to make friends and learn from others. One evening, Mira and Leo walked through the palace gardens. The air was cool, and the flowers glowed softly in the moonlight. Mira said, Our worlds are different, but together we are strong. We have learned that trust can build bridges where there were once walls. Leo nodded, and with that trust, we can face any challenge. As they looked up at the stars, they dreamed of new adventures and discoveries. They imagined a future where many worlds worked side by side, sharing knowledge and kindness. The glowing stone of Valora pulsed gently in Leo's hand, a symbol of their bond and the power of unity. Princess Mira turned to Leo and smiled. I chose you long before they sent you, Leo. You are part of this kingdom's heart. Leo smiled back, and I am proud to be here, by your side. Together, they looked to the stars, ready for the future. On a distant planet called Zephyra, life moved with calm and peace. The planet was home to many kinds of creatures, but the most important was the royal family that watched over all. Princess Mira was the young daughter of Queen Isla. She lived in a large palace made of shining blue stones and tall white towers. The sky above Zephyra was a deep violet color, and bright stars could be seen even in the daytime. Princess Mira was kind and curious. She liked to learn about the stars and the stories her mother told her about their people. But sometimes she felt a little lonely. Zephyra was a quiet place, and the palace was big and empty when her mother was busy with the kingdom. One day, while Mira was walking in the palace garden, a strange sound filled the air. It was not like the usual soft breeze or the singing birds of Zephyra. The sound was loud and steady, coming from the sky. Mira looked up and saw a small, bright ship coming down slowly toward the palace grounds. The ship was not like any of the flying crafts she knew. It had shining silver walls and a round shape, glowing softly. The palace guards moved quickly to prepare for the visitor, but Mira felt no fear. Her heart beat fast with excitement. Who could this visitor be? As the ship landed gently, a door opened with a soft hiss. From the ship stepped a man. He was tall and wore a simple silver suit that shone like the stars above. His hair was dark, and his eyes were warm and kind. Mira watched him closely as he took slow steps toward the palace. The man smiled and bowed slightly. "Greetings," he said in a clear voice. "I'm Aaron, from a planet called Earth. I come in peace." Mira's eyes widened. She had heard of Earth, but no one from there had ever come to Zephyra before. She felt a strange feeling in her chest, a mix of surprise and hope. Queen Isla soon came to meet the visitor. She was wise and strong, but also kind like her daughter. After greeting Aaron, the queen invited him to stay in the palace for a time. She wanted to learn why this human had come. So far, Aaron explained that he was an explorer. His people wanted to understand other worlds and make friends across the stars. Zephyra was a new place for him, full of beauty and wonder. He spoke about Earth, about its blue oceans, green forests, and tall mountains. He told stories about the people there, their hopes, and their dreams. Princess Mira listened carefully. She liked how Aaron spoke simply and honestly. He did not act like a powerful leader or a proud visitor. Instead, he seemed gentle and curious, just like her. Over the next few days, Aaron and Mira met often. They walked in the gardens, watched the twin suns set behind the mountains, and talked about their different worlds. Aaron showed Mira a small device from Earth, a screen that could show pictures and sounds from his home. Mira was amazed to see images of Earth's cities, animals, and oceans at the same time. Mira shared her knowledge of Zephyra. She explained how her people respected nature and the stars. She told Aaron about the special festivals where they celebrated the light of the stars and the wisdom of the elders. The palace staff watched this friendship with curiosity. Some were cautious of the human visitor. They whispered quietly, unsure if Aaron's arrival was safe. But Mira did not feel danger. She felt something new, hope and excitement. One evening, as the violet sky turned dark and the stars began to shine bright, Mira stood alone on a balcony. She looked up at the stars and thought about Aaron. She wondered if this visit was the beginning of something important. Her heart was full of questions. What would the future bring? Could a human and an alien truly understand each other? Would her world change because of this visitor? For now, the only answer was the soft night breeze and the shining stars above Zephyra.